Knott's Berry Farm is a well-known amusement park located in Buena Park, California. It's currently owned by Cedar Fair, one of the largest amusement park operators in the world. The park originally opened in 1940 and claims itself to be America's first theme park. Regardless of whether or not this is true, Knott's is a really special park by all accounts. It has a very unique history and still stacks up to its competition of Disney, Universal, and Six Flags next door. Better yet, Knott's Berry Farm is a mere hour 15-minute drive away from my house. For almost 4 years, I've been a pass holder to this park and have made countless visits over time. It's for this reason that I'll be able to make a really in-depth review as a person who frequently visits Knott's Berry Farm. First and foremost, where can you find this park? Knott's is located in Buena Park, the next door neighbor to Anaheim, home of Disneyland. Due to its location in Southern California, you'll only have to drive 30 to 40 minutes to get here from downtown Los Angeles and about an hour and a half from San Diego County. With 19 million people living in the greater Los Angeles metro area and another 3.5 million in the San Diego metro area, it's apparent that there's a large population Knott's is able to draw from. And despite its competitors just down the road, it pulls in approximately 4 million visitors each year. This makes it the most attended park in the Cedar Fair chain, which makes sense given it's the company's only year-round property. To get a better understanding of Knott's Berry Farm, let's rewind the clock to its opening in 1940. It originally started as Mrs. Knott's Chicken Dinner, a restaurant that you can still find outside the park to this day. But due to its overwhelming success, the Knott's family wanted to expand in an attempt to entertain those waiting to eat at the restaurant. They started by adding a replica ghost town and a handful of classic amusement rides. These attractions became major tourist draws, so the family continued to expand outwards all the way until 1997. For the longest time, Knott's Berry Farm was strictly a family business, but once Mr. and Mrs. Knott passed away, the family made the decision to sell the park to Cedar Fair. They had been in talks with a number of companies for quite some time, including Disney, who they actually declined an offer from due to fears that they would eliminate the old-time feel. They instead decided to sell the property to Cedar Fair because of their commitment to keeping the atmosphere and original attractions in check. In all fairness, I do have to admit that they made a good decision because Cedar Fair has been taking great care of this park and constantly invest in what they think is needed the most. As is, the park is currently home to 10 roller coasters with a rumored Giga Coaster by Bolliger and Mabillard possibly on the way. For now, their best attraction would for sure be Ghost Rider, a CCI wooden roller coaster from 1998. As it aged, the ride was known to be on the rougher end, so Cedar Fair made the best possible decision in 2015. They decided to hire Great Coasters International to completely retrack and refurbish the pre-existing coaster, which transformed the ride into one of the best wooden coasters on the continent. The ride seems to last forever, but never gets boring due to its world-class pacing and perfect balance between airtime and lateral forces. Best of all, it still rides perfectly smooth and offers one of the best night rides in the world. The tallest and fastest coaster in the park is Accelerator, the prototype Intamin hydraulic launch coaster. The ride is known to have one of the fastest accelerating launches in the world, taking riders from 0 to 82 miles per hour in 2.3 seconds. It then shoots up a 205-foot top hat and two very intense overbank turns. It may be a short ride, but dang is it a sweet one. The newest of the park's coasters is Hang Time, a Gerstlauer Infinity design from 2018. While it may not be as snappy as some of the manufacturer's other rides, it's really grown on me over time, to be fair. It has a great balance of airtime, hang time, and positive G-forces. Plus, if you catch this thing at nighttime, you'll be mesmerized by its astounding light package. A fan favorite at Knott's Berry Farm is Silver Bullet, a drawn-out inverted coaster by Bolliger and Mabillard. The ride has a fun sequence of elements, but is noticeably less whippy than literally any of the other B&M inverts I can think of. On the plus side though, it has a stunning color scheme and makes for a killer front entrance. Montezuma's Revenge is a classic Schwarzkopf shuttle loop coaster that's now closed for refurbishment as the park strives to increase the longevity of the attraction. Despite opening in 1978, it packs in a powerful launch and inversion that I look forward to experiencing again in 2023. In the Camp Snoopy section, you have a ride that might look deceiving due to its tame appearance, but it's actually quite intense. This is Sierra Sidewinder, a mock ride spinning coaster that pulls some surprising G-forces. Then there's a handful of family coasters, including Pony Express, a tame launch coaster, Jaguar, a long Tivoli coaster, and Coast Rider, a pretty bad wild mouse coaster. There is also a kiddie coaster called Timberline Twister that seems to have a height limit, but I've never had a problem getting on it, so those of you looking to get all the credit should be able to get on it. Now, as solid as this park's coaster collection is, I take some of their other rides over all but two of them. Timber Mountain Log Ride is one of the best log flumes in the world between its impressive theming, animatronics, and drops. Calico Mine Ride is a park original from 1960 and is still a wonderful classic dark ride. Like the log ride, it has great animatronics and it has a few really cool mining scenes in these man-made caves. I also really enjoy Calico River Rapids, a recently renovated water ride that contains more animatronics and some great rapids. As of last year, the park is also home to a third dark ride and really the first traditional one in the park, Knott's Berry Tales, which pays homage to the original dark ride by the same name that opened in 1975. It's things like this that really prove that Cedar Fair's commitment is true. In terms of flat rides, there aren't a lot that I tend to ride every visit, but there certainly are some options to some. Supreme Scream is a massive, albeit tame S&S drop tower. Soul Spin is an intense top scan that tends to run a pretty short cycle, and then there's a number of amusement park staples like your Swinging Ship, Small Pendulum, and Wipeout. There really seems to be a greater emphasis on family attractions versus these dominating flat rides, which is understandable given that the park opened to that target audience. Even by today's standards, I think you can make an argument for Knott's Berry Farm being more of a family park than a thrill park like Six Flags Magic Mountain up north. Though that's not to say that they don't have some intense coasters as we've already talked about. In terms of park appearance, Knott's looks absolutely fantastic. It's nicely landscaped and has some great theming in some sections. The Ghost Town section from the park's early years is still the most prominent in the park in my opinion. It's absolutely loaded with charm at its home to Ghost Rider, plus on occasion you'll see these employees in character and they'll have some really cool guest interactions with you. Another strong suit of this park is the food offerings. Obviously, when you come here, it's never a bad idea to see if you could score a reservation at the chicken dinner restaurant that the park's always been known for. But even if you can't, there's plenty of options inside the park. Particularly, you'll notice many boysenberry flavored items, which paid homage to Walter Knott, who grew up as a farmer and actually invented the fruit. If you're hoping for something more standard, there's plenty of restaurants like Panda Express, Coasters Drive-In, etc. Now, while Knott's does do most things well, there is one thing about this park that could really damper one's experience, and that's the operations. The amount of trains they run on their coasters is usually pretty acceptable, just like Six Flags Magic Mountain, but I have the same complaint that their speed of operations are just atrocious. I've been to the park on days where the place is so dead that they're running one train on Ghost Rider, but then the problem is that they take 5 minutes to send out a train. It's not much better on weekends either. The park is really just that slow. And I find this especially unusual at a Cedar Fair park since the company is known to have really sufficient operations at a lot of their parks. I don't know what the deal is with Knott's dispatches, but my hope is that they speed things up in the next few years because honestly, that is my biggest complaint with Knott's. No one likes being stuck in lines for long periods of time, which is why I appreciate some of these bigger theme park chains like Disney and Universal and how their lines always seem to be moving. With that being said, I can't give Knott's too hard of a time since they do really many things right. I'd absolutely say Cedar Fair takes good care of this park, and it's why I'm always booking my season pass year after year. On a scale from 1 through 10, I think Knott's earns itself an 8.5 or 9 depending on the day. I've had really good experiences at this park and would highly encourage a visit if you've never been. But if you have before, let me know what you think of Knott's Berry Farm in the comments and what you'd score it from 1 through 10. If you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate a like and subscription as it really helps the channel out. Also, feel free to check out my Discord server if you're into that. A link will be in the description. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon. Bye guys.